Imagine stepping outside at night, and there's a glowing band stretching across the sky like a giant cosmic rainbow. Not a shooting star, not the Milky Way. Earth has rings. Like Saturn. So let's set the scene. One day, Earth wakes up with a huge, bright ring system made of ice and rock chunks orbiting around the equator. No warning, no ring installation manual, just, boom, sky jewelry. First question, would it look cool? Yes, extremely. It would be the ultimate sky feature. During the day, you'd see a pale, milky stripe. At night, it would shine like a city-sized halo, and you'd probably get people camping outside just to stare upward and whisper. We live inside a sci-fi poster, but then the annoying part of science shows up and says, okay, but where are you on the planet? Because rings mostly sit over the equator. If you live near the equator, the rings would cut right across your sky, huge and dramatic. If you live far north or south, they'd hug the horizon like a glowing fence. Still beautiful, but less giant arch over my head, and more why is the sunset line sparkling. Now for the next question, what happens to sunlight? Rings cast shadows, big ones. That means parts of Earth would get less sunlight at certain times of year. Picture long, moving stripes of shade sliding across oceans and continents as Earth spins. Some places would get regular ring shade seasons, like nature's weirdest awning. Less sunlight means cooler temperatures under the shadows. Not instant ice age everywhere, but enough to mess with weather patterns. Monsoons, trade winds, ocean currents, they all depend on heating and cooling. So the rings would basically grab Earth's climate, shake it gently, and say, let's try something new. And then there's the night sky problem. Astronomers would have opinions. Strong opinions? Rings would reflect sunlight after sunset, so nights would be brighter, especially near the equator. Great for romantic walks. Terrible for seeing faint stars. The phrase dark sky preserve would become the most valuable real estate pitch on the planet. Now let's talk about satellites, because this is where things get spicy. Earth's rings would sit in low orbitish territory compared to many satellites. That means any satellite trying to cross the ring plane would be in danger of getting sandblasted by space gravel at thousands of miles per hour. That's not, oops, scratched the paint. That's congratulations. Your billion-dollar satellite is now modern art. So we'd redesign our whole space setup. Many satellites would have to orbit at angles that avoid the ring plane. Some orbits would become crowded, others would become impossible. GPS, communications, weather tracking still doable, but suddenly way more complicated. Space agencies would start saying things like, okay, who put the ring there? As if they could file a complaint with the universe. But rings don't just politely stay forever. They're made of countless particles. They bump into each other. They spread out, and here's the big issue. Rings slowly fall. Not all at once, but bit by bit. Some ring material would spiral down into the atmosphere. That means meteor showers. Constant meteor showers. At first, it sounds fun. Free fireworks every night. But over time, some of that space dust is not dust. It's bigger chunks. Most would burn up, but every so often, you'd get real impacts. Not dinosaur ending every Tuesday, but enough that meteor insurance becomes a thing, and roofing companies have their best decade ever. Now for the big reveal. The rings might make Earth look peaceful, while turning the equator into a chaotic construction zone of falling space debris and shifting climate patterns. The most surprising part is that the rings wouldn't just be scenery. They'd be a whole new system Earth has to live with, changing our weather, our nights, and even how we use space. The sky would be stunning, but it would come with consequences you'd feel in your phone signal, your farming seasons, and maybe your roof. So, takeaway. Saturn's rings are gorgeous because Saturn is far away and mostly minding its own business. If Earth had rings, we'd get the prettiest sky in history, and a planet that suddenly needs a lot more planning. If you had to live with Earth's rings, where would you want to be? Right on the equator, under the full sky bridge, or near the poles with the rings glowing on the horizon? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you want more what if science with a side of chaos, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.